may recall that in the spring, we brought a similar change pursuant to negotiations with both UCTA and USPA, basically to add a provision in the ERI policy that Dr. Hartzler, should he decide it's prudent to do so, would be able to move the participation deadline for requesting the ERI up to December 1st. And part of the rationale for this has to do with basically bad budget years when we're expecting a loss of funding from the state and wanting to find out our natural attrition early so that we can start planning for our positions for hiring in the spring. As you may recall, once we do offer the ERI, and normally that participation is a February 1 participation deadline, we still are required by law to give employees 50 days to consider participation, and that's under the Older Workers Benefit Protection Act. And so during that 50-day period, any employee who had placed his or her name on the participation list could in fact back out. So you can see how with the February 1 approval of ERI participation, we would still have a month and a half, almost really actually 2 months by the time we would come back and bring a revision to the board of the people who had decided to take their names off the list. So we would be into April by the time we could lock in what our natural attrition would be through the ERI program. Having the potential for Dr. Hartzler to move that participation date up to a December 1 deadline would mean that we would lock in our natural attrition then a couple of months earlier, which would help us in the planning and budgeting process.